Now, parts of the West Midlands are being turned into the UK's biggest employment black spot, according to a new report by think tank the Resolution Foundation, which says the lack of jobs played a role in the region's vote to leave the EU.
Well, tackling unemployment will be one of the key tasks of the new mayor of the West Midlands, who takes up office next spring. Andy Bevan joins us now. Andy, explain a little bit about what this role involves and indeed who the mayoral candidates are.
Well, first of all, voters across the West Midlands and in 7 other so-called city regions across the UK will go to the polls on May the 4th next year to elect this new official. And he or she will be additional to the Lord Mayors and Mayors we already have, and they'll lead a huge new area called the West Midlands Combined Authority. Now, this is a link-up of all the main councils from across the region, along with the 3 biggest local enterprise partnerships. The aim is to pool resources, ideas, and in some cases budgets, to make life more joined up and cost-effective.
And Andy, why is all this happening now, particularly?
Well, in one word, devolution, and we're going to hear a lot more about that word in the run-up to May. The government is committed to letting local authorities control their own destiny rather than imposing policies from Westminster, and the so-called Metropolitan Mayor will be in charge. Now, this morning, the 3 main candidates were at a breakfast briefing about that report we mentioned earlier, and each set out their version for the West Midlands should they be elected. MEP Sean Simon is the Labour Party's choice. Former John Lewis boss Andy Street is standing for the Conservatives, and Beverly Nielsen from the University of Birmingham represents the Lib Dems. The Greens also have a candidate, James Byrne, who wasn't at today's meeting. The Metro Mayor will oversee a 30-year budget of £1.1 billion, that's £36.5 million a year, and then have powers to sort out housing and planning, further education and skills, and local transport. Well, after this morning's meeting, I asked each of the hopefuls for their thoughts on those issues.
We've got terribly poor rates of skills and qualifications in this region, and we've got the lowest employment rate of any region, and that's not a coincidence. We need to take back control of our skills system so that we can put our people back in work, which they deserve. Why should we have a 10% less employment rate than they've got in the rest of the country? We've got brilliant people here, and we can do fantastic work. Let's give our people a chance.
So what voters across the West Midlands tell me is that one of the biggest issues facing them is where their families are going to live in the future. We've got a housing shortage, we have to have a coordinated plan. So that means accelerating development on brownfield sites. It means more housing provision near our city centres rather than on the edge of towns. It means getting more money that the government has just made available, and it means working with the local authorities further out so they can help us. So what that's about is a coordinated plan, and the Mayor and the Combined Authority can do that in a way in which it's never been possible before.
It's really important that we fund Transport for West Midlands properly so that people of the West Midlands have really serious alternatives to the car, which is too widely relied on at the moment. We need far more investment in bus, in the metro, in tram train, in the train infrastructure, an integrated transport strategy, a universal mobility offering, and we need to ensure that the competitiveness of this region is improved and that the cost of congestion at £3 billion a year is eradicated.
And you can hear more from each candidate on all those topics on our website, itv.com/central. It's interesting to note, though, that when people in this region were asked what they most wanted a Metro Mayor to take charge of, around a third of people said healthcare provision, which, unlike in Greater Manchester, is the one thing they won't have control of. That category, health, was way above the 3 areas that they actually will control.
Which is interesting, Andy, but also it's a hefty role with lots of responsibilities. Some may say it's just another layer of bureaucracy, though, within the West Midlands.
Well, some people have undoubtedly said that and will continue to do so. But others say, look, we need this unification, this coming together of councils in order to get the region moving and keep fueling that all-important West Midlands engine. We'll find out what voters think, of course, on May the 4th next year.
Thank you, Andy.
Right, let's take a look at